Lombardi y Mail quieren reconstruir cómo los antiguos pobladores de los llanos de Mojos identificaron el paisaje en el área de las lomas monumentales. En un círculo de aproximadamente 70 kilómetros alrededor de la ciudad de Casarabe, se extienden cientos de kilómetros de canales precolombinos, terraplenes y lomas monumentales. Si bien esto demuestra que estos lugares fueron densamente poblados en el pasado, muy poco sabemos todavía de cómo estos antiguos habitantes vivían, qué comían, cómo modificaron el paisaje y hasta qué punto lo que vemos hoy en día es resultado de la acción de estos antiguos habitantes de Mojos. Es importante poder acceder a las lagunas para sacar muestras de sedimentos. Estos sedimentos contienen polen, como resto fósil de la antigua vegetación que crecía en tiempos precolombinos. Este nos permite saber qué plantas había, si hubo deforestación, qué cultivaban. Pero no siempre es fácil acceder a lagos, más bien las dificultades son muchas.
So we're standing here in front of this lake and I've got my postdoc researcher behind me, my PhD students, Marco Ragska and Joe Hurst. And so what they're doing is actually constructing a coring platform that we see here. So we've got two inflatables that they've been inflating, and there's a wooden metal platform that they're building up over there. And the idea is that we're going to try and create some kind of floating platform that we can tow out to the center of the lake over here that's behind us, and to anchor that platform in the center of the lake, and then to use a bunch of metal tubes to extract a sediment core from the base of that lake. Why are we doing that? Well, the key reason is that we can obtain amazing information from this lake mud. All right, so what I do is to take these long sausages of sediment, it's about 1 meter long, and we ship them back to my lab back in England. We add all sorts of nasty chemicals to this lake mud that allows us to extract fossilized pollen grains. You might ask, okay, that's a very weird thing to be looking at, is pollen. But actually pollen is the key technique that we use for reconstructing the vegetation history of Amazonia, going back over many thousands of years into its deep history. And we can think of pollen grains, if you like, as a fingerprint of the plant. The key reason is that we can recognize different plant species by the appearance of the pollen under a microscope. So different plant species have got different appearances to the pollen. Some are spiky, some have got lots of pits in them, some have got different furrows. Basically they look different. And that allows us then to reconstruct the environmental history. So by looking at the different amounts of different pollen types, this tells us about composition changes to the vegetation, allows us to tell if we're looking at a rainforest that's surrounding that lake, maybe it was a dry forest or savanna, and we can also recognize the key crops, so we can find pollen of maize, for example, or sweet potato, and this allows us then to reconstruct how the environment has been changing over thousands of years.